tonight. We have new numbers, the initial numbers to show this. So there is a group called the Dallas Hero Initiative. It has successfully gotten 3 propositions on the ballot. Propositions S, T, and U. We'll show you what we have for the rest of them in just a moment. Proposition S, though, would essentially allow any citizen to sue Dallas city leaders if they don't follow city ordinances, if they don't follow the law. And I've been talking to multiple sources for the past few days to see if there's any internal polling on this, to see how close it is. And both sides are essentially telling me this thing is going to be really tight. We don't really know which way it's going. But Proposition S is the first set of numbers we have so far on it. Cole Sullivan is covering this for us, and he is out talking to both sides tonight. I want to bring in Cole right now with what he's hearing on this. Cole?
Hey, Jason, so we looked at some of those early numbers for Proposition S you had there, 51% for. I've got some other numbers on the other 2 propositions. T, which would tie the city manager's performance to a survey of at least 1,400 Dallas residents, performance pay, I should say, to a survey of about 1,400 Dallas residents, 58% opposed, you see there. And then on Proposition U, which is the most controversial one of all 3 of these so-called hero amendments, you can see 52% of folks in these early numbers are opposed to Proposition U. But Jason, you talked about just how tough it is to get voting, to get polling data on this, and it's partially because a lot of voters don't know about these measures. They're at the very bottom of the city of Dallas ballot. So a lot of people walking in to vote for president and for Senate are going through more and more races that are becoming more and more unfamiliar. So it's hard to ask in advance about some of those numbers. But I will tell you, from talking to the people who are behind the HERO campaign, in essence, for all 3 of these amendments, they tell me they think the early vote is actually going to go against them, in part because the opposition really geared up in just the days before early voting started and then the few days after early voting began. So some of those early numbers, they say, we know those are going to be opposed to us. They're looking at the numbers from Election Day today, when perhaps people who put off voting or who are waiting to make up their mind on different issues, came to the polls, maybe haven't gone through their whole sample ballot to look at every single thing. They're coming to the polls today. The HERO people think that today's numbers are going to break in their favor, and they say that they think people who don't know about this at all, even if they don't hear the big blitz that they've done in the last few days, are going to go in their favor from just reading the language on these propositions, which is confusing and does not get into all the detail of exactly how this would work. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on the Election Day vote as we start to get those numbers in. These early votes, the folks behind the HERO amendments say we expected to lose some of these. Looking at those numbers, it is interesting that they're not losing or winning all of them. It's a mixed bag, right? S currently looks like if these numbers hold, let's say, it will pass. T and U looks like they won't pass, but by different amounts, meaning that voters are picking and choosing on them, which means that some of those voters hadn't necessarily heard the campaign advertising from either side. They're sitting there literally in the ballot box, reading them and deciding what they want to have happen in the city of Dallas. So we're gonna have to keep a close eye on some of these numbers as we get more Election Day results. It looks like just about 20% of the voting numbers are in right now. Yeah, Jason, I'll send it back to you.
It is a good storyline we'll be watching tonight too. Thank you so much for that, Cole.